You know, these people are very deceptive because even when I'm not talking to them, they're still trying to program you on your dream state. Mind control works when the in the dream state they offer suggestions or inceptions or whatnot through your left hemisphere. The left hemisphere are the one that perceive things and accept. For example, in order to mind control somebody or to deceive somebody during your dream state, you come through the left hemisphere, and the right hemisphere automatically believe these suggestions be made to be true, even though it could be manufactured and not true, not really have any base evidence of truth. So that's how they do it. You know, you know they they make you believe this is actually happening. In reality, it never happened. Like in a dream state last night, they were telling me all this stuff, and I was participating in these dreams, which is these dreams are false. I never been to that school. I never been, given homework by that professor in the dream state. I never been. I never flew from Europe through Vancouver. Uh, well, I did once. But it was not Europe. I flew through Vancouver before when I was going to Australia, right? Because I took China Southern Airlines. I took it from Toronto to Vancouver, and then from Vancouver straight to Shanghai, and from Shanghai to Brisbane, Australia. But it was not to Europe. So whatever this dream they're trying to manipulate, to bestow, to program you to believe this is happening. They've been also testing me because the other day yesterday, dream, there is this ship or sort of vehicle that was flying very fast. And they're trying to figure out if I could fly that fast. Why? Because they're trying to figure out if I've been activated, which is I'm not been activated. But and I said to myself, oh my God, that plane, or that vehicle flies very fast. I just like, you see it, now you don't. It went that fast for me. It's like lightning bolt. And they all these tests to figure out there you've been activated. You know, Biiznillah, I'm not gonna be activated during my sleep. You know what I mean? So you can have an upper hand. Biiznillah, 144,000. Pray not to be activated during the dream state. This, your divine power and divinity does not come during your sleep. It comes when you are awake. Okay? So you can defend yourself better. Because these people are testing you because they want to ambush you. So, for example, if I was activated, during my sleep, then these people will have an upper hand because they would know, right? The maker of the universe would not allow that to happen because he's above and beyond. He's many steps above the enemy, you know. So whatever you're trying to do is not going to work. So anyhow, that was going on, guys. So they're getting me all this, participate in these dreams, and it never happened. I never been in this dream, and I woke up this morning telling myself, wait a minute, why am I participating? I was talking about doing this homework, traveling to Europe through Vancouver, coming back, buying chocolate from, you know, I never flown through Vancouver, you know, to Europe especially. I've flown to Australia, yes, but not to Europe. You understand? So they getting you to do all those things on this through inceptions, because through the left hemisphere of your brain, because the left hemisphere controls the right. You understand? So whatever the left hemisphere believes, the right accepts immediately without questions. Okay? Look it up, guys. If you don't believe me, look it up. Then you learn something, you know? That's how they control your thoughts and perceptions and beliefs and whatnot. So anyhow, because I tell you why they're doing that. They doing all those things because they want to say, oh, you know, you're lying, because it's coming from your brain. You're lying about something because you've been telling the truth and exposing, and people believe in you. And they want to make sure people don't believe you by doing this during your dream state. Okay? And it could be rituals too. They do rituals, and they make sure you participate in rituals when you sleep. You understand? Because in awakened life, I would never participate in the rituals. But they control your left hemisphere to make you participate in these rituals, things that are done to you during your dream state. And also they're trying to these people who start to believe you, they want people to believe you're lying. Because when you're dreaming and you're participating and you're saying things that never happen, they're not true, and these people see that, these people begin to believe, they begin to doubt you. They think you're lying about everything, right? Because even though you're not lying about anything, but this is what they want. The enemy is very crafty, and they don't want their lie to be exposed. As I said to you guys, the narcs don't like to be exposed. They don't like to be confronted. You know? So anyhow, I hope you watched The Good Son. It tells you what a narc is like. The narc love to lie, love to deceive, love to fabricate, false narrative and false stories. That's what the narc is. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of narcs in this program with very evil tendencies. This is what they are. They hate losing. They hate losing. They hate to be exposed. So they will do whatever it takes to hold into this lie and to make sure they're controlling the situation. They don't want you to prove anything to no one, because it does not work in their favor. They want these people to target you, but they don't want to. They want these people to target you because they believe something never been true. They believe in lie, because these people, when these people come from a government, they think the government is right. It's like the government never lied to you. Look at you guys. Look at the TV. Look at the all this social media and stuff. Why would the government own a social media? Why would the government own Facebook, TikTok, and all of that? You remember what, when Trump was going to buy TikTok, he put all this pressure on TikTok to be sold to them. And it was finally sold to an American company. The American billionaire, he's not American, I think is he American or British? I can't remember. But he put a pressure on them to sell. Zuckerberg, he doesn't own this Facebook. The CIA does. Why they owning all of that? Because why they own the CNN, CIBC, no, CBC, or why they own CI? They own all this um, news network. Why they own everything? Because to control the information. If you control the information, you control what people believe. You understand? All of these outlets are weapons of information. Could be used you against you, or could use for you. They could make a person seem like a superhero. They can say Buddha is a superhero. People will believe it. Buddha is a criminal. People will believe it. You know, they would use it to say whatever they want, and people will eat it up because it's coming from a legitimate source. They think the government doesn't lie. The government is habitual liar. Pinocchio, if you will. Okay? Do not believe the government. The government is got all these lies. They love to lie to us. But we're not allowed to lie to the government. We're not allowed to lie to the government, but the government is allowed to lie to us. You understand? Look it up, guys. The government, they were never held accountable. Look at the politicians. Politicians lie to you every single day. Did this politician go to jail? No, they don't. But if you lie to the government under oath, you go to jail for a long time, right? But they're allowed to do it to us. So that's what's going on. Because I woke up and I just said to myself, why are they putting me through all these lies? How come I'm participating in this dream, in a false dream? It never happened. All these inceptions happening. You understand? So I'm explaining to you why is that, how the grand deception behind all of this. Okay? Speak your truth, guys. Speak your truth, and always provide evidence of what's going on. When the UN did their investigation on our targeting, the investigation is called cyber torture. Cyber torture is like no touch torture. Basically, they don't have to touch you, but they can use direct energy weapon. They can use witchcraft. They can, all of that is not physically touching you, but they are doing it behind closed doors. You understand? It's called cyber torture, and the UN investigated and concluded. They came back and said, yes, the government is doing that. We urge the government to stop violating human rights. Given these people they have right, and it's being violated. Look it up. You know what? I'm gonna see if I can find you the report. I'm gonna link it for you guys in the comment section. It's true. The UN did that. They said yes, the government is being violating these people. So I don't have to prove anything. It's happening. It's happening. It have happened and continue to happen. If you don't continue talking about it, you don't continue to express, shed the light on the truth. God is the truth. You're allowed to speak of the truth against tyranny, against ill intentions, against manipulation and deceptions, because God, the infinite, is the truth. You speak your truth. You shed light on the truth. You're allowed to speak on the truth. The infinite, they said, the infinite is the spirit. You speak your truth. You speak to the spirit in the fruit of the spirit. Look at what the fruit of the spirit. One of the fruit of the spirit is the truth. You understand? This is how you speak to the spirit. The spirit. So, fairness, justice, truth, love, peace. Think of all these things. Just look up the fruit of the Spirit. What are they? You know, guys, speak your truth, okay? The Spirit will not go against you, will not say you're not allowed to say the truth, because the Spirit is the truth. The Spirit, which is the infinite, cannot tell you, do not speak your truth. You know, it's that because it goes against its form, the maker of the universe form, right? When you understand it, you get it, you'll be able to speak strongly about what's happening to you. These people are still doing stuff to me, trying to manipulate me, telling me, the Spirit told me to shut up, don't speak about things, you know? That's not the Spirit, that's them. Similar to when I search things online, they always telling you to shut up, and telling you, God says, shut up. Yeah, that's not God, okay? It's them. Trying to control me, trying to control what comes out of my mouth. They don't want me to expose it. They don't want me to say how these people are being targeted. What's happening to us and this stuff. They don't want you speaking about that because it's when you are exposing the lies and you're bringing it to the light, they hate that the most. They don't want people to believe you because people are going to stop participating. When people stop participating, people are going to go and talk about it. People are, they don't want anybody to believe you. You understand? They want to lie about you, but they don't want to anybody to believe you. You understand? Yeah. Do not stop. Continue talking about everything done on the truth, and justice, and all of that. The infinite will allow, right? Even the Prophet, the Prophet Muhammad says, you're allowed to speak against the tyrant rulers. You're allowed. Okay? Do not stop. Expose it. Because these people, they don't want you. They want to hush you. They want to destroy you in silence without saying anything. They want you just to go unnoticed. Do not say anything. Do not make a fuss. Do what you're told. And they're using God program and God manipulation, and the infinite is talking to you. The maker of the universe is talking to you and telling you to shut up. No, that was not God. That was not the infinite, okay? That's you trying to get a grip on things, okay? It's not going to happen. Good luck. I will continue to expose you for what you are. Lying runt.